The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association presents Trackside Live in the Little Brown Jug Speaker Series. Trackside Live is presented by Wire to Wire Wealth. Let's go live to the Delaware County Fairgrounds in Delaware, Ohio, and your host for the Speaker Series, Ashley Daly.
Gas in the tank.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Jug Day 2025. We're going to kick us all day 5 of 5 on this beautiful Thursday morning. I'm Ashley Daly. Thanks for joining us. We are kicking it off with our speaker series, our handicapping show. Beside me, I have Gabe Pruitt of the Syndicated Army, Wendy Ross of the USTA, and of course, the voice, Roger Houston, going to give us a few picks and maybe some of their opinions on today's Jugette elimination. We're also going to give you a pick 4 ticket and their overall 80th Little Brown Jug pick. So happy to have everyone here this morning, nice and early. Thanks for coming out. How have the 5 days of Delaware treated everyone so far?
Well, actually, I just want to say thank you so much to OHHA for having us and doing this, the speaker series. It's such a great thing that you guys do every year, and you guys on the broadcast have been doing a great job all week and all summer of the fair. So hats off to you guys. It was really super. And 5 days. Well, we made it. It's Joe Day,
I've only been here a couple, so it's not been as bad on me.
He hasn't been here, and Dave Bianconi came one day too. So. But Roger and I have been here since Sunday. It's always fun to be here. It's been a busy week and a lot of races, but really some great races. So we are so happy, but we're energy. We're batteries full heading into today. I think we got another great day of racing coming our way. Raj?
It amazes me each year how fast this week goes. I mean, you come to Delaware and you think, oh, we got 5 days. Where did the first 4 go?
Right. It's always like we end here. It's Jug Day, and we're always excited to be here. And yeah, but it gets here fast. It goes fast. We've seen some really fast races and some nice horses that they have here in the Ohio program.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. There was one race was the Jugette yesterday. The number of Ohio breds competed in it.
And we do have one Ohio bred today, so maybe we should just hop right into the first elimination. Is going to be race 16 today, a field of 7 from the rail. We have no trespassing in the 2-hole Pappy's Rocket. We've got Captain Dio from post position 3. Our 4-horse is the Ohio bred Extra Suds. Our 5 is the undefeated Blueprint. Our 6 is Prince Hal Hanover, and rounding out the first elimination is 7 Sterling Choice. Our guys beside us are going to give you their trifecta, and Gabe, I'll hand you back the mic.
All right, well, Blueprint horse to beat, everybody knows that, but I just think Blueprint's going to be a little overbet. He's getting all the headlines in here. I went to Prince Hal Hanover with the top spot, and I think, I don't think there's much separating those 2 horses. I think there's going to be a lot separating them on the odds board today. I think Blueprint, I think you'll get maybe 4 or 5 times the price with Prince Hal Hanover, so I think he's going to be overbet to a good degree. So Prince Hal Hanover's my top pick, Blueprint, and then I'll take the other Burke horse, Poppy's Rocket, for third, 652.
Well, I'm definitely not trying to, change any of the wheel here because it's hard to go against. I'm a huge Blueprint fan. I think Burke's going to go back-to-back, take the Jugette yesterday and take another jug, put another jug trophy in his, in the cupboard here as for Blueprint. And I interviewed Ronnie yesterday after the race. He said, we didn't come here to be second. So I think he's got a lot of confidence in his colt, his Son of Sweet Lou. For me, Prince Hal Hanover, I've been a fan of this colt the whole season, especially when Blueprint was out there for a couple months. I think Prince Hal was certainly stepped up to be the top colt in this division here. So Prince Hal, for me, underneath there. And I agree with Gabe as well, Poppy's Rocket, the other Burke entrant in here. He's just a good colt, but he's just one of those just kind of overshadowed by Blueprint and a couple others. But I think Post 2 is going to put him in a good spot. Yannick Gingras aboard here as he has been throughout his racing season. I think that's a big factor as well. So for me, 562, Blueprint.
Oh, we're using this instead?
Yeah, I think for the live.
Okay, no question on my mind, Blueprint. I know one of these days Prince Hal Hanover is going to probably get the win over Blueprint, but until that happens, I'm going to stay with Blueprint. I think Ronnie Wren Jr. probably is one of the most underrated drivers in North America. He fits this horse like a glove. Blueprint is the best. I also like Prince Hal Hanover, but until I will not pick the upset when it happens.
It's good that Gabe went with the 6, though, right? Give the 6 a little shout out. And, Blueprint's going to take all the money, but let's give some options here.
Yeah, he's a horse to beat. It's just, again, I don't know if he's that much better than Prince Hal Hanover, and I think he's going to bet like he is today.
In that same vein, race 16 is going to kick us off for a pick 4, 16 through 19. They're going to give you their ticket right now.
Well, for me, 5 and 6, I am going to use Blueprint. I won't let Roger and Wendy dump me in the first leg, but so we'll go 2 deep there. The second leg, race 17, I'm going to go 3 deep. D.A. Loveboat is a recent purchase for Team Burke, so I'm not going to let that horse beat me. This horse was very good in Lexington last year, won at 48 and change. I think he's a real horse. He's got the inside with the Onyx, so I think he'll play okay. He's 9 to 1 in the morning line. Thursday, I was at Batavia there for that super final. This is a horse that raced unbelievable in that final. His stablemate beat him, Dandy Ideal, but he was 3 wide there. Pretty much an impossible move at Batavia for a long time. I would not dismiss his chances in race 17, that second elimination. I used odds on Outlier as well. Dex in the bike there for trader Melanie Wren. The third leg, race 18, I went 2 deep. I was MM's Dream. We all know how hot trader Ron Burke's been. I love MM's Dream. What a nice mare. And I used Call Me Goo as well. But my key to this pick 4, the late pick 4, I'm going to single the last leg and maybe single a horse that hopefully no one else is singling out there anywhere, but it's a non-prolific fire. Really like this guy, or this filly, this 3-year-old Breeders' Championship. Second tier, but I think she's very well spotted. You'll see she's been beaten the last couple of times by odds on Chesapeake. So she's 5 to 1 in the morning line, and my pick 4 is going to live or die. Hopefully it's still alive by that point, but through that one in race 19, the 9.
Interesting singling there in the last leg, but hey, this guy knows what he's doing. So if you want to save a little money and get a little bargain for your bang there, go ahead and sing on the last leg. For me, 5, 6 in the first leg here in the first elimination of the jug. Obviously, the 5, Blueprint, Prince Hal Hanover, I think are the best 2 in there. So it's easy to only go 2 deep in there. Moving on to the second leg. It was a 4-5 for me as well. Odds on Outlier and Captain Optimistic. Dexter Dunn had a choice of the 2. He opts to the 4 in here. Captain Optimistic's been racing really well in this division throughout the season. Nancy Tactor knows how to have horses ready for this jug, and I think this Captain Optimistic is good enough to make the final for sure. Moving on to the third leg, the Miss Versatility. You got a really nice group of top trotting mares here that we get to see them shine at Delaware. The 3, Call Me Goo here. Tim Teacher driving for Aki Svensa. This is just a nice mare. She just does everything right, Gabe? And the 2, MM's Dream. I agree with you here. I think Burke's going to have this mare ready to rock coming in off that second beat out there at the Meadowlands. But I also can't leave out the 5. This is going to bring you a little bit of price here if you're looking for it. Nelson Bright Eagle. Dexter drives here for Aki. I think she's going to be a little bit more of a price play of the 2, of Call Me Goo, of the Swanstead entrance in here. So, but what the 5 I think is certainly one to look at in the last leg. 3 deep for me here. I agree with Gabe on Prolific Fire. Not enough to single, but I think the 9 puts this filly in a good spot. The 3 here, Riley 2, is another one you could look at here. Tim Teatrick picks up the drive here for Trish Falk. And the 2, Odds on Sue, Dexter Dunn, Virgil here coming out of some numbers of 4 company. But I think post 2 is going to get Dex here is going to give this one a shot. I think it'll be enough for this filly here. So for me, 9-3-2 in that last leg.
The worst thing about harness racing is my handicapping. It is the one thing that I despise. I hate to handicap. I've had to do it ever since I first went to Pompano Park in 1967, and of all the things I've had to do, I hate handicapping. The number of times I've made a bet, probably, I always bet myself when I drove in the amateur races, and I'd go crazy sometimes, but I'm not a gambler.
Cashing any tickets on yourself?
Oh, yeah. all the time. Big time. Remember Butch that would sweep the track? He always made my bets, and he always bet what I did, and we got rich a few years. Wasn't always a favorite. But anyway, this is the first time I've ever been asked to pick a pick 4.
Okay.
So I don't even know how you do it.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 5 and 6 in the first. I'm not the one thing, did you single prolific fire?
Yes.
I don't even have him on my ticket. Woo.
Probably a good thing.
Anyway, I'm 5'6" in the 16th, 4'5" in the 17th, 3'2", 5'8". That's the question mark. That third race is the big one. And then 6-2 in the final. I'm told that ticket, that's 32 combinations that cost $16. I've learned that over the years, but I never did it. But anyway, these guys are the handicappers. I just pick winners.
Well, I think nowadays Gabe is definitely more of the handicapper. With our U.S. trotting, we've been doing some live shows, so I've had to get back in that analyst role a little bit more, hosting those, and we've been doing picks for those, Gabe. But I think I'm more into the interviewing role as of late. So you're the guy, right? So if he says single in the last leg, you listen to this guy.
I'm over 2 days there, so let's keep that in mind before we go crazy here. So we've still got a long slate today to hopefully get some success.
So with that pick 4 ticket, of course, we did hit on who they like, and race 17 is going to be that second elimination. But race 20, the final, the 80th Little Brown Jug, who is your overall pick?
I'm going to go to Prince Al Hanover horse. I mean, I think that's a tough for the two divisions. I know Blueprint, Prince Al, I think quite the rivalry, and I think they're going to continue that here today. And again, I think if I pick them in the first elimination, I've got to come back with them in the second. I think one of those two, I think will win today. And again, I just think the value will be with Prince Al Hanover.
Lou Print. I was able to catch up with trainer Ron Burke. We did a little piece on Lou Print and talked about Lou and the other colt and some of the fillies from yesterday. It came out there yesterday, so take a look at that. It's a great interview with Ronnie, and you got to do a walk and talk. You got to get a good look at Lou Print, see the look in his eye. He's fresh, he's sharp, ready to take on this task here today. Lou Print.
Lou Print. What else you want to say? Until he gets beat, I'm no dummy.
I guess one last question before we go thank our sponsors. The stakes record was Ken Hanover, 2023. I believe it's what? 148-4. Is that in danger today?
Always in danger. I mean, in this era, I think it's always in danger. Pace makes a race, but, it wouldn't shock me.
Thanks, everybody. There was a few different combinations you may be able to use today. Join us back here in just a moment. Frank Frost is going to sit down with Roger Houston.
With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
The future is bright in Ohio. Ohio Sire Stakes, Buckeye Stallion Series, 66 county and independent fairs. Whether it's the Ohio Sire Stakes, the Buckeye Stallion Series, or the county fairs, Ohio has a place for your racehorse. This year, Ohio breds are racing for nearly $23 million in stakes purses. Be part of the winning. Breed, buy, race, win in Ohio.
Ambassador to help promote Ohio harness racing, and was asked if I could work with an industry veteran. I assured him I could do that. I could work with anybody. They told me they couldn't tell me who this person was until the deal was done. After a little bit of coaxing, I finally got them to tell me I'd be working with Roger Houston, and would that be a problem? Well, now I knew the name Roger Houston, but I didn't know the man. And I was told him I'm sure I was going to be able to work with him. We both started the same month. It was October of 19. We both started. You got the old veteran. You got the newcomer to the industry. I'm starting a new job with a legend in the industry there to help me, and I couldn't ask for a better coworker. But, coworker is the right word. Friend is the right word that I use. So About 2 months ago, Roger contacted me and said, hey, I need you to help me do something at Speaker Series. Okay, yeah, what do you need? And when he told me, I had to stop. I had to catch my breath. You know, the time had come for Roger Houston to slow down. Now, I've been on this guy's case for years. Slow down. He's driving to Virginia to do races. He comes back. He does an OHHA broadcast for us. Then he drives to go watch his grandkids play soccer. He's back in Ohio calling races. Roger, slow down. Yeah, I'm all right. So, been begging him to do that for a while. And I didn't think it was going to be to slow down to stop calling races. But many of you noticed yesterday he did not call the Jughead. And so with that, there's a letter in today's program that Roger wrote to the fans. And he asked me to help him make the announcement that he's slowing down. He's done with the Jughead. He's not going to call the Little Brown Jug. But first off, let's thank Roger for 58 years in this business. Now, there's going to be tears. We know it. But I don't want any of that today. I want some smiles. I want some laughs. And I want some reminiscing. So the first thing I'm going to say is thank you for everything you've done for me in this industry.
Well, I'm going to turn the tables on this guy. I have never worked with anybody in all those 67 years that even comes close to Frank Frost.
It's not about me. Stop. We're ending it right now.
No.
We're done. We're done. Why now? Why, after all my complaining to you and telling you to slow down, you finally listened to me? Or was it somebody else? Was it Nev who finally got to you? His daughter?
No, not really. Nobody got to me, believe it or not. I didn't talk it over with my daughter. The first indication, and I think it was 2 years ago, I had walked in after the Jug and I told Tom Wright, who director of racing and main man, I says, I don't want it to be known when I'm going to call my last Jug. I don't want that pressure. So I went into last year in my mind knowing that that was going to be my last Jug. This isn't something I made up overnight or anything like that. Everybody, including Frank, my daughter, you name it, even some fans and stuff like that says, slow down, slow down. My favorite song is called My Way with Frank Sinatra.
No, it's not.
And
No, it's not.
yes, it is.
No, it isn't. Glenn Miller's Little Brown Jug is your favorite.
Well, yes and no. If I never shut my phone off because if I get
What do
a
you
call,
have on your
it's
phone? What do you have on your phone?
Little Brown Jug.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I win that one.
But anyway, I didn't want to go into knowing that it was going to be the last and everything. So last year when it was over, I told Tom that that's it and everything. I told Jason in February at the Dan Patch dinner. In a way, I knew I had to make the decision early because if I had done it immediately or something like that, it would have been much harder. Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to be hard this afternoon. It's going to be hard. But at least I've had 2 years to know it's going to be hard, and that helps a lot.
Was it hard yesterday not calling that Jughead?
Absolutely not. It was not hard in any item that you want to come up with. That was not hard. I knew that it was going to be hard today.
Well, it's not going to be hard. You're going to be all right.
I'll be all right.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be as hard as I think it's going to be hard right now. I really don't. I'll be very honest. The decision was made because I don't want the pressure. Now you got to understand, 83 years old. That's enough pressure to begin with. I am not in good physical condition. I'm all right mentally, I'm all right health-wise and everything like that, but I hurt all the time with the back and the knees and everything.
So do I. So does half the people in this audience.
Yeah, I know. Well, then you understand what I'm going through. And I can hardly even stand up anymore to announce races because I sit down on a chair or on a high stool and stuff. So it's hard in that respect. But the pressure that it puts on you for a big race or something like that, it builds with you with age and stuff. And that's the only way I can really say I don't want the pressure anymore. Now, I'm not taking anything away from a $5,000 claimer. I'm not taking anything away from the Ohio Breeders' Championship or anything like that. But there's not as much pressure on those as there is on the jug and the jugette. So it's strictly an age factor and things like that.
But you're not retiring and hanging
no.
up the microphone, are you?
I do 17 county fairs in Ohio. Where else? Virginia and New York. I told them all, I says, I'll see you next year. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise, but man, that damn creek's getting awful deep. But I started saying that 4 years ago, and we're still going. Here in Delaware, I'll still probably call somewhere in the vicinity of 80 races this year, Delaware, out of the 99 or whatever it is. Next year, the same thing. I'll be back and to do the races as long as the good Lord lets me do things like that. I'm not going to back off in any degree. Who backs off at the top? I back off at the top and keep the bottom. The proudest thing I've ever had is to be known as a county fair announcer. That's the greatest thing. I love the county fairs. And
Are you going to slow down at least a little? Hold on. Oh, jeez. Are you going to slow down a little bit at least to watch the grandkids play a little more soccer and do those type of things, and spend a little more time with the family?
oh, this is another thing that's horrible, horrible, horrible to admit. Racing is number one. Family is number two. That's terrible. That sounds horrible. Thank God my daughter understands it. The grandkids. I got to tell this little one. Kinsley, I think she's in the second or third grade. She gets on the phone. Hey, Grandpa, happy birthday. How old are you? And I says, 83. She says, I thought you were 92. And I go to their soccer games. Nevi calls and says, when are you going to be home? And she says, you got a soccer game Saturday and Sunday. I says, no problem. Go to all the soccer games. I got a big decision though Saturday. Do I watch Eckerd Hill Brady race at Dover in the 2-year-old trot, or do I go to the soccer game? I will go to the soccer game.
Well, the horse race is much better when you're not around.
Right.
That's true.
I don't, I've seen this horse 4 times. Aiken in the matinee, when we did Freshman Focus at Rosie's Farm. I saw him race at Worcester, where he won, and I was a nervous wreck calling the race. I wasn't as nervous here at Delaware on Tuesday when he raced and finished second. Somebody said, oh, sorry your horse got beat. I've never gone into a horse race like that. If they get a check, I'm happy. If it's the first or second, I'm extremely happy.
What's been the biggest part of your career that you're going to remember the most when it is over with? I mean, you've still got a lot of time to go, but what one thing stands out, or a couple of things?
Well, it all goes back to the jug. The jug's been your life. When I first got it, I never once expected to announce the jug. I started coming here when I was a sophomore in high school, just as a fan. Drive to Bowersville and come up here with a guy by the name of Farmer that I've known, Fremont Whittington, and we'd come up here and we'd get here at 6 a.m. in the morning. Yes, people came to Delaware in those days at 6 a.m. in the morning. And we went to the church tent and had breakfast, and the flaps were down because it was 48 degrees. And remember that. And I remember when Adios Butler came back here to time trial. We didn't have the Jugette barn or the jug barn, and I had to find Adios Butler, and I found him on the back of C barn. He was mixed in with the yearlings that had been sold the night before at the sale here, and they were trying to hide him, but they couldn't hide him from me. I found him. There's so many things. Jug-wise, I still say Wiggly Jiglet winning the Little Brown Jug is the greatest race in all of harness racing because of the backstory leading into the jug, what happened in the race and everything. That's still the number one race for me. The time trial by Falcon Sealster, I didn't plan it ahead of time. It just came out. If you've never been on your feet, you better stand up now. And there's another race that stands out, and we went to Australia. We only called one race in '95 in Australia, and that's when they still had hub rails. And one of my favorite sayings was, "That's so-and-so nailed to the rail." Well, the heavy favorite in this race is fifth, final time around, and he is locked in, never going to get out. And I said this, and it's got the most plays ever in the history of Australia, New Zealand racing on YouTube. That's the Messiah nailed to the rail.
Want that one back in.
You can't plan ahead of time what you're going to say. It has to come out. If you're an announcer and you're planning on what you're going to say in a race or something like that, you're not really an announcer. You go with the flow.
Now, you've had the distinction of being named the favorite announcer in the USTA poll a while back. I believe the same poll you were also named, I don't know if they called it the worst announcer, but you were on both ends of the spectrums of the fans.
It's funny because I hate those kind of polls. But I was the favorite announcer in the poll, but I also add real quick, I got the most complaints as well. Yeah, complaints. This is something about me too. You're not supposed to do this, but you're supposed to let criticism go in one side and out the other. They all hurt. And that's personal.
But you know what, though? If you weren't good enough, you wouldn't have been doing it. How many years you've done it? It's because of the people out here who enjoy hearing you do those races. That's what it's all about.
I've never understood this, and I'm being totally honest. I don't understand why a horseman or an owner comes up to me and says, "Are you calling the fourth race today?" They want me to call their race. And that is probably the greatest compliment that you can get. The other thing I remember, and out of the mouths of babes, Nembley came with me one year to the jug. Actually, she's come here many years. Even when I was driving, she would come up. But I think she was about 9 or 10 years old. And Butch Green, who had been a friend of mine since high school from Xenia, always took me to the other side in a golf cart. And Nembley was with us that day. And she says, "Daddy, why do people want to get your picture taken with them and have you sign their program?" Out of the mouths of babes. I never understood that. I tried to be as normal as, except for the rings. I know that's not normal. Look at that. I put 2 rings on the same finger today. That's terrible. But anyway, I can't explain it. I'm just a county fair announcer, and I'm just Roger.
And you're sporting the rings. Funny story. This morning I was talking to Roger, and he goes, "I thought I lost my rings." And I mean, these rings are very special to Roger. So what do you mean? He says, "I was getting in the car and I reached in my pocket and I only had 2 of them." He actually drove all the way, grabbed the golf cart, went back to the judges' stand.
No, I drove my car to the
drove his
judges'
car
stand.
across the track over to the judges' stand to see if he could find them. They were in his pocket, so it was a good thing he didn't lose them. But
It's hell to become 83.
you talk about people asking for your autograph and get your picture taken. But I can attest, there's nothing greater than being an owner and having you call a race and a win. And I was very fortunate. When I owned standardbreds, or thoroughbreds years and years and years ago, and they got into the standardbred industry. At the time we started the OHHA, we were not allowed to own horses, the employee. That has changed. And I was able to get in with a group of guys on a horse by the name of Poster Pets, and had Roger make the call for my first standardbred win as an owner. And I'll never forget it. We sat there and I go back and I watch that race. So I know what it means to an owner to have Roger Houston call one of your races. It's one of the greatest things you're ever going to have. And, for that, I'm grateful. The other thing I'm very grateful for is the opportunity to work with this man. When COVID hit, we had to figure a way to keep people in Ohio entertained. Well, the first thing we did, now, look at these two mugs up here. We decided we were going to grow beards until we started racing again. And if you really want to see some funny stuff, go back on YouTube and look at Roger Houston with a beard.
I still hate to shave. That's the hardest. A lot of people says, what's the hardest part of your job? And for years I said shaving and going to work.
That was fun though. We were both sitting there doing that. We both.
There's a couple of things I want to say. A couple of things I'm so proud of in my entire life. I've never applied for a job in harness racing or in anything else. I think I've made the right decision every time in my life. You come this way and there's a fork in the road. You either go left or right. I made the right choice every single time I had a choice in my life. Give up county fairs and go to Pompano Park, the Red Mile in Lexington. I've been offered the job as general manager at 2 racetracks. The bottom line was, I said, can I still announce the races? And they said, no, you got to be the general. I said, I don't want the job. It's been a great life.
Yes, it has. It's been a great career.
And you have all been a part of it. And that's what is important.
And that's a perfect note for us to end this. On behalf of the millions of harness racing fans across the world, thank you for everything you've done. We're going to enjoy listening to you moving on as we go, as time goes on, and enjoying the OHHA broadcast, hearing you at the different tracks. So on behalf of everybody, Roger, thank you very much for everything.
Thank you. Thank you. And if there's a horse race near you, be there.
With that, that'll wrap up this speaker series. Our Legends series will begin next up here. We're going to have some legends in here and an autograph session after that. Thank you to our sponsor, Wire to Wire Wealth. We'll be back after this.
This has been Trackside Live. Trackside Live is presented by Wire to Wire Wealth. Trackside Live is a presentation of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association.